Welcome to The Value Shot. I'm Jeffrey D. Brown, publisher and editor of Guitar Business World. Now, these 16 original episodes were featured at the back of the show on Guitar Business Radio, where I talked about some basic foundational building blocks that you can use to help drive your business or career to the next level. Those segments have now been edited and repackaged for presentation here on GBW. They're short and full of simple but really powerful ideas you can put to use right now. I suggest listening to them in sequence to get the most out of them. So let's get to it. In today's Value Shot, I want to talk a little bit about taking your business or your career to the next level. Some of you may be thinking about that a little or a lot, or maybe not at all. Now, I'm sure that most, if not all of you at one point or another have seriously thought about taking or trying to take your business or career to the so-called next level. You may not have used those exact words, but I think you know what I mean. And by the way, there are lots of people out there who will tell you how to do that, and with probably as many different methods and plans for success. Many of them are very thick and detailed, but my first bit of advice on that, don't make a decision based on thickness or details. And for those of you who've listened to more than one of these value shots, you should know by now not to expect that kind of approach from me, at least in these 5 or 6 minute segments. But I will give you some, yep, you guessed it, foundational elements to help you move forward, like basic ideas and maybe some check boxes that you can employ. As always, we can get into more of the weeds later on. Now, I've learned most of this stuff myself over the years from others, and in many cases, I've integrated it with my own components. But for me, the first thing that needs to be present when initiating a move to the next level is vision. And it's a personal thing. You can listen to others and their ideas or vision, but in the end, it's got to come from your own thinking. It has to be your vision if you are leading the way, and usually you are. You'll need to see yourself in the vision, living the vision, operating in the vision as though it has already happened. That has to be your starting point, in my view. A key element, obviously, is clarity. The vision has to be clear to you. But here's a word of caution. It doesn't have to be exact in terms of all the things that need to happen for the vision to come to fruition. The vision itself may change and even evolve over time. And so we have to see the vision as part of something even bigger, the destination. And you've heard me talk about this before, right? Like in every episode. So let's take a simple example to illustrate this. And again, keep in mind that this example may not relate to something that you're doing, but just make the appropriate substitutions. Now let's pick something out of the blue, like, I don't know, guitar building. That might apply to a handful of you. And let's say for the moment, you're running a one-person shop. Could be 5 or 10 or more, but let's keep it, simple. Now, in your unique case, you may feel limited. You can only do so much with your time. You want to produce more. You want to make a better living. You want to build something unique and different, but you can't under your perceived limitation. Notice I said perceived. You may not be as limited as you think, but the fact that you believe in your limitation is in itself, of course, limiting. So you're going to have to work at losing that notion in order to get past it. And I know, easier said than done, but just keep it in mind. So first things first, start visualizing the circumstances, the setting, the activity that's going on at your next level. Maybe it's an expanded shop, additional people working with you, possibly a partner or an affiliation. Or maybe it's having more capital to work with. That can make a big difference if it's used productively. Also, I would suggest making notes about your vision. That takes discipline, but I can tell you that if you document your thoughts on a regular basis in whatever way works for you, you'll be very grateful when you've forgotten a critical idea or a thought you had a while back. Again, this is easier said, but worthy of repeating, and I'll tell you why in a moment. As I said, the next level for you, as you vision it, may turn out to be something completely different. It's part of the bigger destination that is always defined by us in a more general way. Sometimes it's about attaining a lifestyle, financial security, market position, or whatever. Getting to the next level is usually an important but incremental part of the bigger journey. So as we're looking at our vision for the next level, it's a very good idea to make sure it will play a positive role on the path to your larger destination. That's an important checkbox. In my own experience when I was younger and then working with other folks in later years, there's a common desire, maybe it's human nature, to want to know in advance how things are going to work out. In business, lenders and investors and other potential stakeholders want to know this. And they often want detailed business plans and more to give them confidence in the intended result. But let's go back a few episodes when I talked about the perils of the expectation game. If you've not listened to them, go back to episode 5 and 6 and review. I talked about primary or operational expectations and secondary or variable expectations. Well, in my view, most business plans, formal or not, fall into that secondary category. The outcomes are almost, if not always, variable. If we become too invested in narrowly defined expectations, we set ourselves up for all kinds of things that don't end well. So by having a good sense of our larger destination, whatever that is for each of us, we can move deliberately forward to our next level with a clear vision, always keeping our options open on how it's going to unfold. The important thing is to keep moving in the direction of the vision. And you do that by keeping the vision in mind, documenting it as you go, and by not getting in the way when the pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, as they will, one way or another. Now, in upcoming episodes, I'm going to talk a fair amount about this next level business. It's really a universal topic, and there's a lot to talk about. So if you have any thoughts or questions, as always, I'd love to hear from you. And remember to stay positive, stay focused on that destination, and keep all your options open on how you're going to get there. Well, I hope you got some value from that, but I do want to emphasize again the need to listen in sequence. And just so you know, there are brand new episodes of The Value Shot on the way, so be sure you're subscribed to Guitar Business World here on Substack to get those as well as new editorial features and valuable resources. As always, we love to hear from you with questions or thoughts. You can contact us directly at guitarbusiness@substack.com. guitarbusiness@substack.com. I'm Jeffrey D. Brown. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.